So Lou, first I want to start with Sergio Martinez. You know, your big star. When was the last time that you spoke with him?
I have to be honest. I spoke to him right after the fight, and I really haven't spoken to him. I mean, I didn't want to put any pressure on him, and I didn't want to affect his decision. So, you know, we've communicated with a couple of emails. And I'm going to speak to him shortly. You know, I want to. He's going to come in. He's coming in to go to the Madonna Mayweather fight. He wants to support his countrymen, and then he's going to come into New York and see one of the top orthopedic guys in the country here, and then we'll go from there.
Is this for the knee or for the?
Yeah. He wants to be fully checked out, but really the knee. You know, he insists that the knee wasn't the real problem. He insists that the first punch in the fight that he lost his equilibrium basically, and really was disconnected for the rest of the fight. Okay. Take a break here. But we're back.
All right, back again with Lou DiBella. So you said that you hadn't spoken, you corresponded via email.
Yeah.
What do you think about his decision to keep on fighting?
It's his decision. You know, he's earned the right. And I said this before. I'm not trying to be repetitive, but I really believe it. He's earned the right to make his own decision.
The reason why I asked.
You want to go back? Okay. Back from a brief interruption at this little cocktail party. Okay, you got me. Okay.
But the reason why I asked, you know, is I remember what happened with Jermaine Taylor, and how you kind of stepped in and you were concerned about it. So what kind of concerns do you have about Sergio? Beyond that, what was he diagnosed with after the Cotto fight?
He didn't look like himself, you know, in that fight. And it wasn't until he got in the shower, frankly, and got out of the shower, that he seemed to have his, you know, totally have his wits about him. I think what people miss about that performance was the sheer will and the guts and the championship heart he has, because he was out with the first punch. And they had to stop that fight in the corner. He wasn't going to stop fighting. And I think the corner did the right thing in stopping the fight. Look, I was concerned because you see a guy and he doesn't look like himself. I never thought in a million years that he would be that, you know, the fight with Cotto would be that one-sided. But then when I look back at it, I really do believe the fight was over in the first round. The interesting thing is he wasn't limping the next day. You know, it wasn't that. He basically said, and I think so far the doctors, and he has not seen a great American specialist yet, but he has gone and been checked out, and they basically said they didn't think it was a structural issue with the knee, where he said that there was probably a concussive incident and a disconnect between his body and his head. He really was sort of fighting on adrenaline and on heart. You know, what I think doesn't matter, and what I've said to him privately is, frankly, none of anyone's business. But he's a grown guy, and he's a really together, astute, mature man. And if he makes the decision ultimately, which I think he's leaning toward, obviously he wants to proceed with his career, but he's also intelligent and thoughtful enough to say, I'm going to go to New York and get checked out by one of the best guys in the world. And that's what's going to happen. If he continues, it's his decision. I'm going to support him in it, and I'm going to be with him until the end. I mean, like I said before, if he gets back in the ring and it's not Sergio Martinez, I'm going to be the first one to say it.
Can it be Sergio Martinez again, in your opinion?
Not Sergio Martinez 5 years ago, but a lot better fighter than you saw on that night in Madison Square Garden. Yeah, and also, like, you know, will he get caught? He got caught in the first round. Guys get caught. That's why I said there's got to be a benefit of the doubt. I mean, I have no question, by the way, that he was not there after that first punch. Now, the problem was there was a first punch. It was, you know, to the temple. It's a place that affects your equilibrium, affects your you know, ring judgment. Was his overall physical state a big issue? I don't know how much it was, but I have to, you know, I'm going to defer to him. If he would have, put it this way, if he would have retired, you wouldn't have heard a peep out of me.
Yep.
His decision to continue is his decision, and you're not going to hear me criticize it. And I think that we're going to be intelligent in this next fight. I mean, if there was a huge, we're not going to fight Canelo Alvarez. We're not going to fight the biggest fight that might present itself if Sergio was viewing himself as an opponent. We're not going to do that. We're going to try to, you know, fight a fight against a credible guy to assess where he is. I know him well enough to know that he's capable of honest self-assessment. And I think that after that next fight, one way or the other, he'll do that.
Leaving the physical aspect out of it, what kind of track do you need to have to rebuild his career?
It's not going to be a long track no matter what. He promised his mother he wasn't going to fight past 40, and I don't believe he will. I mean, I think the end time frame for his career is his 41st birthday. So I don't think he's going to fight past 40. I know he won't.
So do you think the big fights are there for him?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, I think if he has a fight and looks good and looks more like the Sergio Martinez people are used to seeing, I think there'll be a big fight. And then I think on that big fight, he's at the point in his career, win or lose, that he would probably walk away. I don't think there's more than 2 or 3 fights in him, no matter what.
Was there a rematch clause with Cotto?
No.
No options for you?
No.
Let me ask, why not?
He wanted the fight so badly, we took it up the wazoo on the deal we made, frankly. I mean, he wanted that fight that badly, you know. I didn't, but, you know, I mean, I would have personally have chosen to do a deal that I thought on its face might have been fairer, but he wanted Cotto. You know, he's never, like, the guy's never ducked a challenge. He's always fought the best guys out there.